Martell is finally ready to take that step with her. But hold on, because this isn't just about love and marriage. It's also about timing, respect, and the way their story continues to collide with the rest of the Love and Marriage Huntsville cast. You're definitely going to want to watch this video until the very end, because I'm breaking down not just what Arrion said, but also what it means for Martell Holt, Maurice Scott, Destiny Payton, and the whole circle. Now, let's start with the moment that made everyone raise an eyebrow. Arrion said she's been looking at dresses. Imagine that. Arrion sitting there talking about buns, hairstyles, and getting ready to walk down the aisle while Martell Holt is still juggling drama with his ex-wife Melody Sherry and trying to hold on to his position within the Huntsville group. Arrion made it clear that Martell told Maurice Scott he wasn't trying to move too fast, but in the same breath he also said, "When you know, you know." And that right there is the hook that keeps people guessing. If Martell knows, then what is he waiting for? Did he stop by the jewelry store after that conversation, like Arrion playfully suggested? Or is this just another case of Martell dangling promises without actually delivering? Stick around, because the more we unpack this, the more the pieces start to fall into place. Arrion joked about how Martell had her and Miles Morales over there in a project-like home with no furniture. She threw Destiny Payton into the mix by saying that Martell and Destiny didn't bring back any furniture for the house, which was a little jab that fans definitely caught. That comment was both shade and truth at the same time, because even though Martell is building himself up, the perception is still that he has moments of instability, whether it's financially, emotionally, or relationally. And Arrion, in her own way, highlighted that. She basically said, "We don't even have furniture, but I'm supposed to be thinking about a wedding." Now tell me, doesn't that sound like classic Martell Holt behavior? Promising the world, but delivering chaos. But things got even juicier when Arrion reacted to someone saying they met her at the gym. She immediately denied it, saying, "He ain't never met me in no gym." And she connected that to Martell, pointing out how he once said he met someone, like Trish in a random spot. The way she told it, she was frustrated, stressed out, even joking about how it messed up her wedding bun. Now here's the thing. If Martell is still having side conversations and still making new connections, how serious can this marriage talk really be? That's the kind of contradiction that makes fans sit back and say, is Martell ever really going to settle down with Arrion, or is he just stringing her along again? Keep watching, because later I'm going to tell you about the moment Martell came home with news that had Arrion ready to throw the whole engagement idea away. Arrion revealed that Martell almost married her once before, but when he came home, upset with some news, he said he was going to put the ring back up. Can you imagine? To be that close to marriage and then to have it snatched away because Martell caught an attitude? And yet, Arrion admitted she's been trying to be good ever since, hoping the show would fade out and Martell would bring the ring back out again. That's why when Martell keeps saying she's got to be right, Arrion is out here, trying to prove she's right. It's almost heartbreaking, but it's also drama-filled because the same way Arrion is trying to be right for Martell, Martell is still showing he can't fully commit. That's why this marriage conversation feels less like a plan and more like a fantasy. And then she reminded everyone that her birthday is coming up, that it's Virgo season, and she doesn't want another arcade date. She wants a grown-up birthday. That one comment said so much. She's tired of little games, little gestures, and childish energy. She wants to feel like a woman who is celebrated and prioritized. But here's the issue. Martell Holt doesn't really have friends, and neither does Arrion, as she admitted. So who exactly is going to be around to celebrate this grown-up birthday or this possible wedding? It's just them, and that isolation speaks volumes. It shows how much they've both been cut off from other people because of their choices. And that's where Maurice Scott and even Marceau Scott come back into the picture. Because when Martell confided in Maurice about not moving too fast, but still believing in when you know, it reminded everyone of how much the Scotts have been involved in Martell's business. Whether it's covering for him, confronting him, or just being dragged into his drama, the Scotts are always in the orbit. And now, with Arrion boldly talking about marriage, that orbit is only going to get messier. Imagine if Letitia Scott has to sit on camera one day watching Arrion in a wedding dress talking about becoming Mrs. Holt. The ripple effect would be insane. Now, let's not forget Destiny Payton. She may not have brought back any furniture, but her name always seems to come up when Arrion talks about Martell's world. Destiny has her own struggles. her own storylines. But somehow she stays connected to Martell's ups and downs. If Martell really did start leaning into Arrion as a serious partner, where does that leave Destiny in his inner circle? Would Destiny step back, or would she try to hold on to that bond? That's a question fans will be asking if Arrion's marriage talk ever gets real. And then there's Melody Sherry. Even though Arrion didn't name drop her here, you already know fans are thinking about her. Melody has moved on, but she still has to co-parent with Martell. Imagine her reaction if she had to watch her ex-husband marry the very woman he betrayed her with. That would be one of the most dramatic storylines reality TV has ever seen, and fans know it. So while Arrion is over here talking buns and dresses, everyone else is thinking about the bigger picture. What this means for Melody, for the Scotts, and for the future of the entire cast dynamic. And I want you to think about this too. If Martell really was serious about marrying Arrion, wouldn't we have seen more public displays of commitment by now? Wouldn't there be real steps toward building a stable home, not just jokes about not having furniture? The fact that Arrion herself admits she's been waiting for him to bring the ring back out tells you everything. She's been waiting, and when you're waiting this long for a man who's always halfway in and halfway out, it makes you wonder if you'll ever actually get what you're waiting for. So who do you think is right in this situation? Is Arrion fooling herself by talking marriage with Martell? Or do you think Martell is secretly planning to surprise her one day? Personally, I think Martell loves the idea of having Arrion there when it's convenient for him, but marriage requires stability, and we haven't seen that from him yet. But then again, Martell has shocked us before, and Arrion seems to believe he will again. And remember, this is just the beginning. As Arrion continues to speak, as Martell continues to balance his relationships with the Scotts, Destiny, and even Melody through co-parenting, we are bound to see more moments where fantasy collides with reality. If Arrion ever steps on the show officially, imagine the tension. Letitia, Kimmy, Marceau, Maurice, and even Melody would have no choice but to react. And when that happens, the wedding bun conversation will turn into a full-blown reality TV storm. So make sure you keep watching until the very end, because this story is far from over. Arrion Curry talking marriage isn't just about her. It's about Martell Holt's future, the Scotts' loyalty, Destiny Payton's role, and even Melody Sherry's peace of mind. This is one of those storylines that could explode